you ready? One,
2,
3,
4,
5. Fuck.
All right, that should be good.
No.
1,
2.
then, fuck.
3,
4,
5,
6,
7,
Ocho.
9.
Hello, viewers. What the what? We're supposed to record something and he hasn't responded. It's fucking 9:30. We normally try to record at like 6:30.
12:28 for me.
I would say he might be dead, but I think that's a legitimate possibility, and I don't want to say that and then have it be true. So
I'm not going to disagree with you.
He's not here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
We were supposed to
recording-
record the weekly. It's the 26th right now.
It'd be the
so-
first weekly back after you were gone for a week. So after 10. So it's weekly
So it's
11.
11,
Last
yeah,
week
it's
was
11.
10s.
That's where we are,
yeah,
depending
so-
on wherever this comes out.
right, but
Probably beginning of September.
fairly recently, reread Kimetsu no Yaiba, and like, hey, let's talk about it. And I read
I also
it like
watched
last
the anime
year.
as well.
Oh, cool. So yeah, I guess non-spoilery part. I mean, Kimetsu's kind of a fucking big deal, like in both Japan and America. Like, I'm sure, like, come on, you've at least heard of it, right? Like, watching this, like, how have you not? But I do think, like, I mean, I think anything popular is likely to have some merit. Like, there has to be some reason that it connects to, a lot of people. I would think.
Yeah, even if it's a dumb reason, like there's a reason people like it and come to watch it. You know what I mean?
I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah.
even say in most cases it'd be a dumb reason, really.
No, I don't think it is a dumb reason in most cases, but I do think there are times where, the reason something's popular could be like a dumb reason, Like, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, right?
You're toxic.
I think the reason people connect to that is because they like Spider-Man.
I mean,
and so they
it's
like
not like anybody's going around still praising Amazing Spider-Man movies.
No, but I'm not saying people praise them. I'm saying it's popular, which it is.
I guess.
A lot of people saw those movies.
Yeah, I guess.
And people like the live-action Disney movies because they hate animation.
Okay,
Yeah,
those are
even
popular.
though-
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. You got me
Right,
with
like,
that one.
and like, I'm sure they're not like the worst thing, but they're just, like, as we like animation, so obviously we're gonna like prefer the originals. And
Well, we also like good things. As someone who's seen
That's
live action
untrue.
Beauty and the Beast, not good.
As
Hey,
someone
I've
who's read
seen
Fairy
live
Tail,
action
that's
Aladdin,
not true, Vindy.
and it's not bad. I will not say that's a bad.
Yeah, no,
movie.
that's kind of what I was thinking of, is because like I'm sure if you rewatched the old Aladdin, you'd be like, well, yeah, this is the better movie, but like, right. So anyway, we're off topic. So yeah, Kimetsu is good. I have not watched the anime, but I read the manga, like I said. And I liked it. Yeah, it's good. There we go. Thank you for listening. And
What the heck? Okay.
So on the weekly roundup for that this week, I watched a movie. Oh wait, no, that's right, wrong podcast.
What?
What is this?
That's what you just did. You just did like a weekly roundup for Kimetsu. Yeah, it was good. It was whatever. It was
Okay.
fine.
Okay,
Talk about
I'll
it. We're
talk
doing an
about
entire
it.
podcast about the manga. Talk about it.
Yeah,
Well,
but
it
when
was- it was good. It's fine. That's all you're gonna say?
Okay. So I reread Kimetsu because I used to not like it. I didn't always dislike it though, because I did like it when I was first reading it, but eventually I just kind of didn't like it. And then
Yeah, I think you and me were very similar, where we liked it when we caught up, and you caught up way after I did. But I remember as you were catching up, you liked it through all the stuff I liked, and then the last arc, I think weekly reading killed the both of us.
the last arc's
we've
fucking
gone-
bad to read weekly. I think.
Like we went back, both of us went back at different times, right? Because I did it right when the manga ended, and I made my video. you did it more recently, and like we both way liked it, like including the last arc a lot more on on a reread, and would agree that like things in the last arc that we previously made a lot of fun of,
yeah, they make
are, like,
sense.
really good.
Yeah.
So I want to say something that's funny about the idea of the weekly reading being a real drag. So hold on, let me find it.
God, that's how you know Craftsdwarf's old, by the way. That's how you know he grew up in the 90s and wasn't just born in them. He called something a drag, unironically.
No. So I started reading Kimetsu when it started because it got on the original, the older Jump app. They were doing they started it as it, they kind of got the Jump before they were just literally translating everything. They specifically gave like first looks at certain series, so there's some series they only did like 3 chapters of and then didn't do. Kimetsu, I think they kept doing, at least for a good while, because I read up to like chapter 19, and that's when I dropped it. Because like all this great beginning stuff that you guys read and you were like, wow, this is good, I was reading it weekly, and I didn't like it.
See, so
yeah,
I would,
but then later,
like,
that's the funny thing, because later I read the entire thing all at once, basically, and I really like the whole thing.
See,
so...
But I wouldn't even say that weekly reading made it bad, because I got caught up in Kimetsu. I don't think it was more than 50 chapters. Couldn't have been at 100. Okay. I guess it could have been 50. I mean, it was like, when I caught up, Infinity Train had just ended, and the brothel arc was like 2 or 3 chapters in. And I read weekly from brothel arc to the end of the manga, and the only problem I ever had was the final arc.
I think I caught up.
Well, that's still like a third of the manga.
Entertainment District
yeah, but there
arc,
was like a third that I read that I really liked.
Probably maybe after that, or like close to the conclusion of that.
Of the Sword Village or of the brothel?
No, the district arc.
The district.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it that the brothel arc? The red light district? Are you not talking about the same thing?
What the fuck?
We are.
I've never heard brothel. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's red light district, Vindy.
Don't talk to me.
Where did that come from?
I can tell you where it came from, but it's psychopathic.
I'm assuming fan translations.
No! It came from the fact that I played Assassin's Creed 2 more recently than I played anything that calls anything a red light district. Assassin's Creed 2, you go into the brothels because they give you money.
What? What is wrong with you?
It's the same thing. You go there to get laid. Like, what? You pay women to have sex with you. It's
I like
the exact same
Kimetsu.
thing.
I liked it now. I guess what really made me kind of like it was just kind of like, I feel like it's a really fast, like, read of just has like a lot of things that I like in it. I really like the antagonists. I like that Tanjiro understands them, and through them he sees what Muzan's doing to the world, and he's this guy who's like different from everybody else, from all the pillars. Like all the pillars are like him in the sense that like they have a sad past like him, and a demon did something to them, but it's pointed out that all the Hashira have this hatred that they can't really let go of, and Tanjiro, because he's kind of able to put that aside, can do certain things differently from them, like having Nezuko by his side. What the fuck is her name? Shinobu. She wanted to get along with demons, but she couldn't because she kind of hates them so much and can't really achieve that dream. But like Tanjiro can kind of do that for her, and there's a lot of stuff like that with Tanjiro that I really like.
He's a good boy.
Yeah. And I really like the main trio in general. Zenitsu might be my favorite character. I did say at some point he's my favorite now, but I'm also not fully sure.
It's Inosuke.
I just like his general he wants to live up to what his master wants, but he's like a scaredy cat, so he has a lot of problems with that. And
also, I just realized, I think we each, out of the main trio, I think like one of them is for all of our favorite character, or each of our favorite characters, but it's a different one.
Yeah.
And there's 3 of us
Inosuke
here,
is just a fucking psychopath.
like you.
I know.
Zenitsu's a simp. like you.
There's the
What
funny
the
fucking
heck?
panel where Inosuke's like Tanjiro wakes up and he's in the bed, and Inosuke's just like hanging upside down from the wall looking at him. Oh my god. He's so funny.
And Tanjiro's a good boy who is smiling to hide the pain.
Cringe.
Why do you hate that man? What's wrong with you?
So toxic.
I don't. I mean, I don't even know what to say about Kimetsu. I have a fucking review of it on my channel.
I mean, this is non-spoiler part, so it's kind of...
No, I know. It's just like, no, it's like, I feel like I don't have much to say because, like, I have a 41-minute review. Like I said, most of the shit I want to say about it.
Though,
you hate...
as far as, like, the other pillars, I like the Earth one, I think, who has the orphans and that was the whole thing. That was
the
blind one.
Good. Yes.
I mean, I know
him.
which one you're talking about. I don't think he's Earth.
I'm terrible with the names. That it's been and
Love pillar.
honestly, she might be my second favorite character. Holy shit!
Not
she
just
because
be
she got
one
naked.
of my favorites when I first read Kimetsu, but now I don't really like. I mean, she's all right, but she's not like standout.
You know what I respect about the love pillar so unbelievably much? The fact that they worked like her strength while still being this cute small anime girl into like her backstory and lore,
like kind of her complex.
Like when I read that, it was like her muscles are like tenfold stronger. One of the most magical things I've ever seen a manga could do to explain having this super strong character that's also just like a mega babe. It's like, all right, you do you.
Also,
you
the blind guy's the stone pillar.
Stone pillar. Okay, I said Earth, but yeah, like anyway, like. Mitsuri, aside from just being like sweet and good, and yeah, she got naked once and I clapped, but that's beside the point.
I think
but
that's the
like
entire point.
but like just the way she's just so like accepting of everyone because she's like you said with the muscles, like she's kind of a monster even before she became a demon slayer.
Yeah,
but
she also has her weird
just,
hair that she doesn't like.
Yes, she's I love her because she loves everyone, and it's like
She does have like
good.
half an IQ point. Yeah.
What the heck?
She's dumb.
My favorite pillar would have to
good
be like,
and dumb is a winning combination. But anyway,
my favorite pillar is Gyu, the water pillar.
Okay.
I don't know why I like him so much now, because like, he wasn't one of the standout pillars to me when I read it. Like, I mean, I guess I didn't have that many standout pillars when I initially read it, but just when I read it now, it's just like he gets like paired up with Tanjiro a lot more than I noticed before, and he just has like really good stuff with Tanjiro that I really like. Like way later on,
especially
when
in
he
the
kind
last
of
arc,
showed his like backstory and what happened to him, and he like like he's just kind of like similar to what Tanjiro did, but except it's like there's this one difference that kind of happened that kind of shaped him in the way he is now, that I thought was interesting. And I don't know, I just like how he acts too, because he's just like this cold guy, but like on the inside, he does care, like obviously. And that moment later on where he says he'll slice open his stomach for Tanjiro and Nezuko, and Tanjiro cries is like
Jesus.
Uh,
really good.
My favorite Craftsdwarf character is fucking on the warpath today. You hear that one?
You don't need to bring it up, Vindy. If you're editing it, you can just like keep it in on your own.
I mean, it's
No,
still funny
I
to
wanted to
point
bring
out.
that one up. That one was fucking violent.
Sorry, we keep going on because Vindy hates you.
I also really like that Shinobu makes fun of him for she says nobody likes you, and then like he's genuinely unaware that people might not like him because of how he acts, so he's like surprised. I don't know, I just really like him. Who's your favorite pillar, Vindy?
What pillar's the ninja guy that has the 3 wives? He might win just off being so based.
Uzui or Tengen?
Yeah. He might win just for being based.
Yeah, imagine. Yeah, he's got fucking 3 hot ninja wives. Like, damn.
Yeah, guy's a fucking goat. No, in all honesty, I actually think I agree with Craftsdwarf. I really liked the Stone Pillar on a reread. the Stone Pillar backstory, like in like the training arc before the final arc. That shit got me. Like I was like super into it, and I was super happy.
And there's
happy.
a moment during the I was
gonna say. He gets like a really good payoff that makes me feel super warm and fuzzy inside. And that's really pog. Love Pillar's great. And I'm not a coward like Craftsdwarf. Part of it is because she gets naked. And then the Flame Pillar, like the one who dies on the train.
Well, there's non-spoilers.
I
mean, everybody knows it still.
That's in the movie. I'll bleep it out.
Okay.
I'll bleep it.
Whatever.
I love how Vindy just doesn't give a fuck. Anyway, so yeah, aside from characters, I think, are we all in agreement that the last arc is the best arc?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, just because I was like, if we're going through like favorites, like arcs would be next, but so another thing I want to talk about is I was just thinking about the art a bit, and like a couple things I like is, one, I like the potato faces for the comedy. They're silly and cute.
Big fan.
Yeah, they're so stupid. And then but another thing I was thinking about is how, like, because people with the way the attacks are drawn, where they sort of use like the elements and the nature and stuff, and it's not, it's imaginary. And I was just thinking about that for a second, because I feel like when it comes to, like, I'm struggling to think of, like, okay, Dragon Ball, like when like Yamcha does like his Wolf Fang Fist, or sometimes you'll get those like abstract visuals to match a normal attack, but that's not really that common nowadays. So I was just thinking that, it's kind of cool that Kimetsu is able to sort of use this abstract non-literal like storytelling or visual thing to get for it that looks really cool. Like, the water adds to the the flow of the image or whatever, or like the elements, and it's harder to draw. Like, it's not like a concession or anything, but it's still really cool stylistically, and it's not as common nowadays. So I just think about it, it's like, yeah, that's cool.
I will say, and this is something I don't think I put in my video, I think my favorite parts of Kimetsu, outside of like certain fights, like I think Kimetsu is like really fucking great as like a slice of life series. Like when it's like just being like a comedy, like fun, like it actually I think works so well. I would love to see Gotoge and Gotoge's art doing like a slice of life comedy. I really
love having all of the downtime with them healing after each of the big arcs and stuff, and just training, and it's really nice.
I really like the arc where like they have like all of the like everyone who's in the corpse training, basically, like during that downtime before the final arc,
right,
where they want to get everyone stronger, and like there's that puppet and stuff, and it was like nice and lengthy too. I really enjoyed that.
No, yeah, like there's so much time spent on the downtime that it's I can't, like, I guess MHA does have like full on school arcs, but then there's still arcs, so I'm not sure if I guess those are downtime, but even then there's still like action and stuff. But I don't know. I guess it's similar-ish, but it's not quite the same either. But
I also
don't know. Yeah.
Shorter arcs. Good. Well, here's the other thing I'll say, and I think this actually does kind of work with Kimetsu, to go back to like the weekly thing, because I think it does matter with the downtime. I think part of why Kimetsu for me worked so well for so long weekly was because a lot of it were these short arcs with the downtime in between, right? So for like a couple months I'd be reading an arc, and then I'd get a good cut like month or two of downtime chapters, and then the next arc. And that worked really well, whereas when you get to the end, there's no downtime once the final arc starts, and it was like over a year of that arc. So I can understand why, weekly readings I'm fucking over this.
Yeah, like they're like, at least with the other arcs, there's like an end in sight, and an arc would only last for at least like maybe 3 months or 4, maybe.
I think maybe the longest arc would be like maybe 50 chapters before the last one.
I
wouldn't imagine longer than that. I think Sword Village was probably close to. Whatever, we'll talk about it. Yeah. Oh my god. The longest arc was the final arc, and it was 47 chapters. Next to that was actually Red Light was longer than Swordsmith Village because Red Light was 30 chapters long. Swordsmith Village was 28.
I was thinking Red Light would probably be the second longest.
It's only second longest by 2 chapters, which is wild to me. The Mugen Train is 17 chapters. Yeah, pretty short arcs all around. Which, I don't know about y'all. I mean, I guess MHA and Black Clover are starting to do longer arcs.
Wait. You kind of mislooked at the final arc. Because, like, the wiki splits, like, the final arc in a stupid way.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it has the Infinity Castle and then the Sunrise part where they're, like, fighting...
I didn't see that.
That's
yeah, okay.
Stupid that they split it like that.
Yeah, that's dumb.
I hate that shit. Fucking Bleach and Naruto have that too.
Arcs.
Like the war is fucking like 5
but
arcs
it's all in the
wiki,
final battle
like, no.
arc. Because this final battle arc.
Yeah, I mean, it has it all
that's
like
so
in a
cringe.
section, but it's still dumb to like split it in general.
Yeah.
It
I
doesn't
agree.
make sense.
No, I agree.
So 69 chapters for the final.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think it feels like it's a something with like newer shonen manga, I guess. Like I don't want to be cringe, you know, be like old shonen versus new shonen, but I feel like MHA does this too, except for 2 major arcs I can think of. Like MHA generally has pretty short arcs as well.
I mean, I do think it's like definitely a newer thing, but I also wouldn't say it's like as clear cut as some other people would say it, because like, you know, Dragon Ball was like that, where it had short arcs. JoJo can be like that. Like there's other examples of that.
What I was just thinking about is how like even in older series, like early parts of most shonen stories tend to be faster in general, like where they had like lots of shorter arcs, and it's like later on when they do the longer arcs. But like, yeah, even MHA like it still moves pretty quickly, even in the longer arcs, all things considered.
Yeah. And I mean, Kimetsu finished, and it's long. You know what I mean? Like, I just think shorter arcs seem more common now than, you know, like right when I hit chapter 100. All right, let's go right into a fucking like, you know, not 100, but like 60 chapter long arc. It's like, you know, I think so. A lot of these newer stories like to kind of get through it, and I wonder how much of that is like they can end when they want, and they worry about their health. You know?
Right, because, like, you know, I love having One Piece, but, like, no, people just can't do that. Like, not, like both Kishimoto and Kubo had health issues. Lots of authors from, the 90s, you know, fucking, shit, what's his name? Why can't I remember? Tabata, he's passing out at his desk. The fucking Jujutsu Kaisen author took a hiatus for health issues, like, and their short series are much shorter, so it's like, you know, it's a really rough industry. So I don't mind having these shorter series, you know, even though I do think, you know, something is going to be lost when we don't get manga that are fucking 700 chapters anymore, right?
I do think it's kind of cool that, like, since people are making shorter manga, that means like there's more of a chance they can make another manga or even another manga after that. Mm-hmm. Like,
true.
If you're working on like Naruto or something, that's pretty much all you're really gonna be able to do. Like Kishimoto can't draw
Goat Nine completely just decides to forget about Samurai 7. Smart man.
Kishimoto didn't
it's
draw
not
it,
even
you
Samurai
fucking idiot.
7! You forgot what it was called!
I literally had
Samurai
both
8.
that and Boruto in mind, but he literally doesn't draw it.
No, Kishimoto, I think maybe I was or the quote was mistranslated, but I think he said he just can't draw anymore. Which is unfortunate.
By that I mean he probably means he can't draw like a manga, because I mean he still does drawings for Jump. He did because he did a Dragon Ball cover the other day.
I mean, yeah, it's not like he can't draw, but like you know, but he can't do a weekly manga. So I just think I'm really excited to see how things shape up with shorter manga, to see if people will do multiple series and like, you know, get multiple different ideas out there. And like, even though it like seems like a little bit of a cringe excuse to be like this way for like Kishimoto, I feel like if he drew Samurai 8, it would probably be better. Like, I feel like it would come off a lot different if he were like fully behind it. Like, he is writing it, but like
maybe, but I think the problem with Morris with Samurai 8 is that he tried to do 2 much in too little time. Like if he had like just spread it out more and had more like exposition told in ways that wasn't just dumps of exposition, then maybe it would have been better. But whatever, it's canceled now. It doesn't matter.
Unfortunate.
I feel like we're not even talking about Kimetsu anymore. So if we don't have any more spoiler-free thoughts, we should spoilers. Yeah.
Sorry, we can have spoilers.
I do think some of the topic around Kimetsu is like interesting because like I mean we're talking about it like as a newer shonen, but I think that like Kimetsu, I mean very like even MHA was big, right? Like don't get me wrong, MHA is fucking huge. But MHA is not as big as Kimetsu. And I think like for a lot like in a lot of ways I think Kimetsu not only shows in a lot of ways currently what is like really popular and really big in shonen manga, but I think also is what you could probably look at like that MHA and a couple others like the main like driving force of the future of shonen manga, right? Because like Kimetsu did so well, there's no way people aren't going to try to copy its success and do some of the things it did, right? So I do think that conversation surrounding Kimetsu is interesting because I think at this point you can't talk about Kimetsu without talking about like its fucking sales,
Yeah. Oh.
So yeah, I mean, I just think the conversation surrounding Kimetsu's like sales and how big it was is like super important because it matters almost like to put the series in context. And I think when you talk about it for the future,
I mean, I think that like we can obviously see how popular and successful it is and like the eyes it's bringing to Jump, but I do think some of its effects we can't see just yet because it's a little too early for
I absolutely agree
newer
with that.
people to get in who will be inspired by Kimetsu.
I definitely think it'll take 5, 10, maybe even like 15, 20 years for us to really tell, but I do think Kimetsu's impact will be really big.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, and it's definitely an interesting impact because, like, well, I think like it got a bunch of female readers into Jump. Like I remember someone commenting, well, like, okay, if you consider shoujo manga just manga that are being read by girls, then Kimetsu no Yaiba was the most popular shonen manga or shoujo manga of the year basically,
right?
And then the whole especially considering both Kimetsu and Jujutsu Kaisen, where you have here's these Jump manga that are getting these really good anime adaptations that that help the manga sales blow up. Jujutsu Kaisen isn't blowing up quite as big as Kimetsu, but it's still getting a massive push, right? Like people are buying those volumes. So now I'm Chainsaw Man.
Yozakura next, baby.
I mean,
feel like
hates Yozakura.
I know.
I mean, it can still blow up in Japan, obviously, but like, it's a
right,
little bit gimmicky.
And at Chainsaw Man, like the preview looked really good. Obviously it looked better than the show is likely going to. Mappa is great at exploiting their animators to make really good anime. So I don't know. I feel like fuck that. Do you think guys or wait, None? Did you read Chainsaw Man?
I've read some of it. I haven't read got into anything
well,
crazy.
I was just wondering, like,
about.
I don't know. I was just wondering because could it reasonably be adapted in 13 episodes or
I don't think so.
13 episodes. That sounds a little fucking crazy.
I think getting the entire thing. I actually think getting the entire thing in 25 episodes would be unfair to that manga. If you want me to be honest, that's a conversation for another day. But I think there's so much weird shit in Chainsaw Man that like that one chapter that's batshit insane. You know the one I'm talking about. Like the actual chapter that the man was on PCP when he made, that should get like a full episode or half an episode at minimum. I think it's so insane that like that's the only way to do that chapter justice. I feel, and it's part of the story.
I also just feel like it's not even a good idea to like adapt it all in one season, just because like you're gonna be waiting for a while to get like another Chainsaw Man anime because you have to wait for part 2 if you just adapt all of part 1 in one go. Like, I feel like it's just not a good idea to like not spread it a little bit more.
Fair. But anyway, so
should we talk about Kimetsu?
Yes.
Yeah, right. I was just trying to make a point about how like Kimetsu isn't just inspiring manga authors for sure, but I think publishers and the studios are gonna are also taking notes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Anyway, so Kimetsu is good.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about the Muzan fight. I think probably first because. Do you want to like go more in order? I just thought.
I don't care.
Would be like, I just think that's like a good
I just felt like we should say
spoilers
again because we started talking about other stuff.
Spoilers again. I will. But no, I think we should talk about the Muzan fight because I think it's really good, and it's also
contentious because of the weekly reading it. Well, because Promised Neverland got the same thing, but let's not talk about other shonen manga. But anyway, so yeah, I thought I also thought it was really good, and it's probably my favorite fight in the manga.
I mean, I guess one thing that super stood out to me was just like I do feel dumb for not realizing what the 13th form was like.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too. Because I remember you and me talking about it all the time. Like, what's the 13th form? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, like I even think in your video when you realized what it was, you didn't go far enough with it in a sense that like you were like I feel like the manga did make it more than clear enough. So like when you were making that point about how the anime could clear it up because the manga, even though it's there, it's like not I don't want to butcher how you worded it, but like I felt like it was like so clear to the point where it's like not even necessarily a thing that the anime like has to really make more clear and like outright say, because like especially when like the flashback parts happen with like Tanjiro's dad and like he's doing like all of his moves
and I don't want to say like, well, I got it the first time because when I was reading the official translation, no, I guess it would have been official.
I was reading because that was Jump Stream period.
That's right. And well, too, is like I kind of like had heard some discourse and I knew that it had been something you guys weren't sure about.
Yeah, so you're paying more attention.
I was probably going to pay more attention. Exactly. So I can't say anything.
And like, yeah, Tanjiro's just like,
good.
He keeps saying, I have to keep connecting all the forms, and the whole idea is just keep doing everything as long as you can, and it's just like, I don't know, like I feel like all the pages made it really clear.
It's the sun form, like it, he connects all of them. It's supposed to be like a cycle, like a sun falling, rising, falling, and rising. Which of course, that sort of calls attention to like progress and going forward. Which, the demons are the opposite of that. They're stagnant. They'd rather, it always be night. So, like once you have all of it, it's like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. And of course, sunlight that's why it defeats the demons. And the whole thing with Muzan is even that they're waiting for the sun because, he's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Well, that was, I mean, so to clarify the point I made, in my video, it wasn't just about the forms. Because I also mentioned a part in the tickets, and I think there are other things. I think there are things, like some of the stuff with the formations Muzan goes to, where it's like I do think that like it's there, and if you're thinking and you're paying attention, you can get it. And I'm sure even on a reread, if I was paying way less attention, I would be on like a third read to be even more clear to me. But it's that I do think that like at times Kimetsu isn't the most forthcoming with information in terms of like I think sometimes it can be like a little stingy about like re-going, and I think that might be why it's so good on a binge, because it doesn't do a lot of the like kind of explaining things that have already happened to make sure the reader remembers them. It does very little of that, and I think that is something that like serialized works when they do. I mean, there's a reason One Piece has started off with like a recap, and multiple reasons why One Piece has started off with a recap for the last fucking 20 years, for the anime, because people,
One Piece is a lot longer.
It helps.
I don't know.
No, I know.
I do see what you're saying, but I also think it just seemed like way less of a issue when I was reading it. Like the tickets thing is really the only thing I feel like, you gotta change that a little bit. But aside from that, I can't really.
And my stance, because I just read some of Dragon Ball Super, and it also does the thing where like in between chapters, there will be a page that wasn't in the original release that kind of explains something. Right. And like my stance on that is like, I understand that from a weekly perspective, like you do want that information, but now like the manga is just like the volume releases is going to be the definitive release. Like another example where that's kind of important is in instances where the pages aren't finished, like there was some recent Jujutsu Kaisen panels that had unfinished drawings, or there was one chapter with Black Clover a while ago. There was one with MHA,
the festival in MHA.
Yes, exactly.
So much of Hunter x Hunter,
Greed Island, a lot of Hunter x Hunter, right? So it's like, yeah, you could say, oh, this is a problem for the weekly release. It's not a problem anymore because we have the volume. So so yeah, and you did read it weekly, so I understand you wanting that information, but
right. And
that's a temporary problem, is I guess the thing.
I
Right?
wouldn't even call it necessarily a problem with Kimetsu. Like, I don't think I wouldn't say Kimetsu's big problem. The reason, like, the thing holding it back. I do think it is something that, like, is, like, because I think some of that, like, that argumentation, part of, like, what I was trying to explain in my video is why I didn't like it as much in the, why I didn't like it that much when I was doing my, chapter reviews. Thank you. I was doing chapter reviews and all this other stuff, and I just wasn't into Kimetsu. And then I reread it, and I liked it a lot more. And so I was trying to, like, explain why I might have felt this way. I've been like, look, if you're reading it, just keep these things in mind. Or, for people, watching the anime, keep these things in mind, like, to try to make sure you're remembering things. Because otherwise, I do think there would be points where, like, you would be, if not a little lost, at least, like, have to think a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Which also doesn't mean that Kimetsu's a smart man's shonen, because, like, people say that shit.
I definitely
like,
don't
cringe.
think it is.
It's just like, I think there are, like, certain things where, like Muzan turning into a baby. I think if you, like, weren't thinking, that would look dumb and stupid, but when you think about, like, what it actually means, it's, like, super pog and awesome, you know?
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, like, Kimetsu, like reading and finishing it, I was definitely, like, it's like, I want to make a video on it, but I want to wait for the anime to finish, is my plan. Because I do think there's some really interesting things about it, especially Buddhism, which no one is going to fucking talk about or think about because it's so alien to, the average Western reader or watcher. Because, reincarnation. Gee, I wonder if Buddhism has something to do with it. It does. Which, I guess to summarize what I would want to talk about in the video is one aspect with Buddhism is not just reincarnating between people, but reincarnating as, like, lower life forms, kind of like falling down on the chain of reincarnation if you kind of fail. A good example of that is in Bleach with Komamura. When he gives into his vengeance, he becomes he goes from, like, a beast person to just a beast. He falls on the path of reincarnation, basically, or he's going backwards, so to speak.
Okay.
Where so the demons, they're the same. They're giving up on their humanity, and so they're because I'm pretty sure in the last chapter none of the demons were shown to be reincarnated in the modern Japan, because they went they still might have a chance in the future, but they because they gave up on their humanity, they end up they're less human, so that they can't reincarnate and have a better life for their future souls.
But is it that they, when they're a demon, they can't even, like, reincarnate at all, and so it's by accepting that little bit of humanity is when you're able to at least re-enter the cycle, even if you're entering it from farther back because you rejected that humanity?
And that's important for the human characters, and part of the reason I really like Mitsuri, because, like, Mitsuri accepts everyone, and sort of, like, because the thing about the Demon Slayers is that to fight the demons, they have to become more like the demons. Like, part of the reason I really like why they keep showing the downtime is because, like, as the series keeps going on, they take less and less time to heal, right? Mm-hmm. Because they're becoming more like the demons, who can regenerate very quickly, because they have to become more like the monsters to fight monsters, but they can't cross over the threshold, right? And that's a big part in, like, literally the last part of the fight, is Muzan is trying to make Tanjiro into a demon. He's trying to make him fall and fail as a human and, like, go back on that path of reincarnation, but he decides he resists that. He doesn't become a demon.
I would also say that Entertainment District has that, where, like, total concentration breathing is said to be, like, the equivalent of blood demon arts, and, like, Tanjiro in Entertainment District was, like, pushing himself too far, and, like, he was really super strong, and he was, like, surpassing the demons he was fighting, but, like, he didn't realize his own limits as a person, and he almost died there. But, like, a demon would have been able to keep going, but since he was human there, and couldn't cross that threshold, as you were putting it, he had to stop.
Right, but because they were able to keep being human, they were able to reincarnate and live a full life in the future. And I thought that was a really cool aspect, and I hope people are talking about it. But it's Buddhism, like I said. I don't think there's going to be a lot of discussion on it. So like I said, I do want to do a video on that idea, but it's just going to be a while. Sorry. So, like, that was my biggest takeaway from this series, because, and I thought it was really interesting, and I do really want to reread it, because maybe I'll like it even more, as I notice more stuff about it, but yeah, like, and yeah, Muzan works really well for that, like, again, as he's the temptation for Tanjiro, and, like, yeah, he becomes a baby, because, he never grew up, he never advanced at all, in a way, he just was a baby who didn't want to die, and, he never, which is part of being human, death, and so yeah.
I really like the chapter where he's like pulling Tanjiro down, and he's like, "No, don't leave me," and like, "No, no," and it's just like, I don't know. I always think about that page when I think about Muzan, because it's just like such a standout thing where Tanjiro's like, he's just kind of ignoring him in a sense, and he's like Muzan's like super pathetic there. Compared to like how he was in every other part of the series, where he's like, this person who doesn't feel anything, and he he's like the progenitor of the chain of sadness that Tanjiro says, and he's like, everybody's afraid of him, but like there in that like last confrontation, he's just a baby who's afraid of death. And then, like, I don't know, I just really liked some of the imagery there. Yeah.
I mean, I fucking love the whole idea of like Muzan, like he's clinging to life because, like, I talked about it, like, and I think this, obviously ties in with your incarnation, but a lot of Kimetsu is like, death is very human, right? Like, you will die, you will be reincarnated, things like that. And like, I love that Muzan's like this person who's trying like as hard as he can to like escape that cycle. Right, he like, because that's what the demons are doing, right? They're removing themselves from the cycle, by becoming demons. And so I love that, like, it's him doing every little thing he can and regressing, even like as like a being and like a human, right? Regressing, like in his humanity, like the humanity that like demons have that like makes them similar to humans. Like, he goes to a baby, and he essentially goes to like an embryo inside Tanjiro, and he's like regressing as he's trying his hardest to just like hold on to his humanity.
And like, he's even trying to make like a concession, and kind of like he thinks he kind of understands what everybody else is seeing, where he's like trying to pass on his will to Tanjiro, but like he's still misunderstanding it and not getting it, because it's still like his own way of trying to like force himself to live on, and like force himself onto this like person who doesn't want him there. And like, I really like the line that's in the manga somewhere, maybe it's in the final arc, that like, the only thing that's eternal is the feelings of humans. But Muzan isn't human, and his like feelings that he's trying to push onto Tanjiro aren't the same, and kind of like aren't trying to actually help Tanjiro or anyone. It's only for himself, and like,
and
in
I
a
feel
very
like
demon way.
That's kind of what makes like the ending, I almost think, like super fucking great, because you have this story where there's a guy who's trying his hardest to stop, like, you have like this guy who's trying his hardest to stop himself from dying and to keep himself living forever, but at the end, him and all the people who aren't dying don't get we don't see them reincarnated at the end. We don't see them continuing on like a legacy and moving on. You get to the future, it's like nobody really cares about the demons anymore, and Tanjiro and everyone, all the humans, have passed on their legacy, and they lived full happy lives, and now we're reincarnated and are living again, whereas the demons aren't, because they tried so hard to escape the cycle.
I almost kind of like, I feel like it's kind of better in a sense too to not show like the demons, like some of the demons reincarnating, because like I feel like it felt like in the manga it was kind of one of those things where it's like it's not supposed to be clear as to whether or not which demons can like get full forgiveness, I guess, and like fully get back onto human lives. Like, like some of them do see their like family in the afterlife, and like I think one of them, like, I think the spider Rui, I think her family was like, we'll go to hell with you or whatever. So like they kind of do What was that, a translation thing?
I liked that part.
Oh,
It was good.
This guy's gonna kill himself.
It made me sad.
but yeah, like I mean, it does show them kind of getting with their family, but it doesn't necessarily like show if they'll get like the most happy thing where they can reincarnate and stuff. Crap, what else I was gonna say about that? But yeah, it is interesting that none of them show up at the end.
Yeah, well, I will add that there are different like beliefs of Buddhism. So, you know, like there are some, you know, that like that you know, not everyone can get you know,
So
reach
you filled my head
nirvana,
with lies,
like,
is what you're telling
yeah,
me.
no, it depends on the like you know, there's isn't just one Buddhism, but it just like there isn't one Christianity, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
you got
but
me
anyway, I guess if you because we talked about Muzan a lot, what are some other I guess moments or fights or characters, especially spoilery?
I
ones that
mean,
we-
I mean, go ahead.
The obvious one's Akaza, right? Like
Yeah,
that's like the obvious
Akaza,
like
yeah.
good fight. You know, whatever.
I mean,
I
oh,
don't know.
sad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna be honest. I liked Koku Shibo better.
It
I
feels
can
like
see,
the
like-
Craftsdwarf nerd pick. I'm sorry.
Why must you hurt me like this?
What I will say about Akaza is that like there's almost no point talking about that fight, if I'm being honest, because that is absolutely the AniTube fight. That is the fight that AniTube and AniTwitter, when that comes out in the anime, are gonna lose their fucking shit over. Alexander's gonna have 5 videos out on the fight before like it's even done.
Oh no!
Like, you know,
Yeah,
that's the
it
fight
is.
that they're gonna suck
They'll
off.
say he's top 1 antagonist when he's literally not.
So
Muzan's
there's
right
no point
there.
talking about the fight. You're
I
gonna
mean, I
hear
just
it.
want to talk
wait.
about the backstory a little bit.
Okay.
I really like
That's
his
just how I feel about
backstory
it,
and
not how
like,
you have to feel about it.
you know, like I think he showcases that kind of thing that Kimetsu does a lot, where the demon's powers and how they act are influenced by their human life. Like, you know, that like Akaza when he was alive was like a like I don't want, it's not, delinquent's not the right word, but he kind of
a thug.
yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, he was like a thug, and he eventually kind of had like a complex about not being strong enough, I think, because you know, a lot of people died, like the rival dojo that he, you know, when he found those, like, he found a new people to be with in like his dojo, and then they kind of like died because of the rivals, and you know, he just has like a whole thing about being strong. So like Akaza as a demon still has that, and like, you know, he literally fights with his like bare fists and like does like a kind of martial arts thing, which is really cool. Like I really like how, you know, how his powers look and stuff, and you know, Rui has that too with her threads, you know, her wanting bonds, and you know, her threads, like, you know, really ended up being like puppet threads in a sense. Like she was like, she used her threads to represent family bonds, but like it's kind of contradicted in how she uses her powers, and like, because she, you know, she literally controls people with her threads, and then she'll compare her family to the threads and say it's like a bond, but like, you know, it kind of contradicts itself. I just really, I think it's really good, and
Well, what you made me think of is that's kind of similar to how Muzan acts in the final thing, where he's kind of like, where they're both kind of like, they're doing something they think is positive, but in a way that's like forcing it onto others, which kind of makes it negative, right? Like family bonds are good, you know, passing things on to the next generation is good.
Yeah,
but they're just doing it in a corrupted way.
I love that,
right?
actually, because like, yeah, it does show that like they have this more twisted and negative sense of humanity, and like I guess the way I ended up viewing the demons is like, you know, it's really their worst aspects of their humanity pushed to the surface, and it like corrodes all the more positive things, and just kind of you know, it's
And
just
yeah,
that
it
darker
is-
side
yeah.
of them
and twisted into like, you know, it's like the core thing isn't necessarily negative, but the way that they do it is basically maybe not for all of them, but I'd have to think about it, but at least those two. But no, the spider arc was really good, and then but to talk about like like the part about the Kokushibo that gets me is like when the fucking panel where he sees the reflection of himself in the sword, and is this what I like a samurai looks like, and like that part really got me. I was like, fuck. And just the whole thing with his brother, and God, I really like that.
Is Kokushibo's the fight where he fights Genya? Yeah, but he's the one who fights Genya and all of them, right?
Yeah.
In the
Genya,
final arc?
his brother, and...
Yeah. I was going to bring up that fight because I fucking love that fight. It's super good. I definitely agree with Craftsdwarf. It's better than Akaza. No, that fight's like super fucking pog. I'm so into that fight. I love Genya, which is a large part of it. I love that it has like the brother thing, and it has, you know, the two brothers are fighting. I love Genya and his brother's relationship, and how, you know, Genya's like eating, you know, he's going furthest into trying to become a demon to fight the demons because
he can't use breathing like everybody else, and he wants to be useful.
Yeah, I think that fight's really sick, so I agree with Crafts.
I
don't disagree. I'd have to think about it, I guess.
Those were the most standout moments for me. I'm trying to think of more right now.
A moment for
series?
me, I mean,
okay.
We alluded to it earlier. The Stone Pillar's backstory that you get in the training arc, and then in the last chapter when you see him with a bunch of children at a daycare,
and they explain what happened, and oh no, you mean sorry, I thought I was talking about the earlier scene.
No. So the fact that you have both the earlier scene where they explain what happened was really good. It made me like him. And then what I mentioned also, like, way earlier before we got into spoilers, was that then in the last chapter when you see him reincarnated and he's with all the kids again is so fucking good. It makes me, like, legitimately happy.
Another, like, standout moment to me is like, Zenitsu's fight in the spider arc. Like, it's just a really good fight, and, like, I love the flashback that Zenitsu has with his master. And, you know, he's talking about how his master was the only one who stuck by him and, like, believed in him. And, you know, he feels really bad about, like, not being able to kind of escape himself and, you know, be the person that he wants to be. And, like, for some reason, this part of, like, the, like, both in the manga and in the anime, like, makes me tear up, kind of, just, like, kind of seeing, like, this vision of, like, what Zenitsu wants. I was just like, I didn't initially like tear up when I like saw this in the manga, even during my reread, but like when I was looking back on pages, I like teared up at it. I don't have the page version, but you know, and like in the anime, his fight with his fight just looks like amazing there, and
that's the episode 19 one, right?
No, that's not 19. It's still in the it's still close, but like.
Okay. Because I know episode 9, I haven't watched it, but I know episode 19 is the one that like got everyone's like.
That's the.
It's the Tanjiro versus
that's
Rui
the spider fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When his sword goes like on fire and he like cut. Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking of something. Okay, maybe I was mistaken.
Yeah, this one. I mean, that was also like adapted like super well. Like I really liked how it showed like all the flashbacks.
I was actually wanting to ask, like, because now they've seen season 1 of the anime, like, because I haven't watched it, so I was just wondering what you thought of it as an adaptation.
See, it's so hard to like compare the anime to the manga because it's like, if I were to like say like what do I think is just better, I would probably say the anime is better. But I also do just like reading shonen battle manga more in general. To where, like there's definitely moments. There's definitely moments where I liked the anime more, like how it did certain things. But I would also maybe say like I kind of like reading like the in between arc things in the manga more. just for how it like moves, I guess. Like how like I just feel like the pacing feels better.
Yeah, like, it feels like there's still motion and it slows down too much in the anime for your liking.
I mean, I don't even think it slows down too much. Like the only part that I felt was like, yeah, this was a little too slow was like the first 2 episodes. Like I felt like those with like the introduction. Okay. I didn't like that as much as in the anime, but like even like the end training stuff at the end of the Spider Family arc was really good in the anime. And like, you know, there's a couple like slightly like I think they're added scenes, but just like Tanjiro talking to Nezuko like at like when he's about to go to sleep, and like I think they're added, like they have to be, but like I think it's kind of like you know he's kind of looking back on what's happened and you know saying how he won't give up, and it's kind of like pushing the tiny little moments where like Tanjiro doubts himself and like and like and like the anime has like this part where not, like Tanjiro hears Nezuko say like keep going or like don't give up or something. You know, I don't think she actually talks there obviously, but you know he hears that. I don't think that's in the manga. I don't remember that happening. I don't know. It's really hard to compare, I guess.
They're both good.
Yeah, I mean, I gave both of them an 8, so.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't know.
I'm just trying to think if I have anything else to say about the manga specifically.
We should do an arc ranking before we end it.
Oh fuck! I don't know if I can do that.
Here, I'll send you the arcs. Obviously, you'll know to be smart and combine the last ones, but you can at least do a cursory one. I just think when we talk about like when you talk about like a fucking something like this, it's like it makes sense to.
Oh, I guess I do want to like talk a little bit more about like Mugen Train. Like when I initially watched, like I haven't watched it in the anime yet. When I initially read it in the manga, I kind of felt like Rengoku was like hard, like he wasn't around long enough to where I cared about him, and to where like I felt like his death happened so fast to where it's like, you know, I do understand why Tanjiro and the group care, but I also do like I didn't fully understand their view of him, which, you know, now that I read it, I definitely think that's like kind of like super dumb, because like it's really cool that like Rengoku in a lot of ways is what Tanjiro wants to be, like even before things really get going, and where he like really sees who Rengoku is. He like already kind of like begins to see this man that like Tanjiro wants to shape up to be, and like in the series in general kind of has like that thing where the characters kind of bond really quickly just because they all have like a shared past and common ground. Like like again, like all the pillars, you know, they're in the Demon Corps for a reason, because they do all care about people and like really don't want to let people die, and like all have this same determination. So like they all already have this like common ground. And like I don't know, like when I was reading, I definitely could see their bond, and like why the group were like super into him, and like a lot of the things he said too when he was like fighting. Really stood out, like you know when he was like keep your heart burning, or you know, things like that, and like I really like the stuff after too, when he's like when Tanjiro sees like his family and stuff and kind of gets invested in them, and I don't know, I thought it was like way better when I read it.
Yeah, I love that Tanjiro has to decide to, like, not have literally the only thing he really wants, which is his family back. And he has to, like, come to the conclusion, you know what I mean? Like, this is wrong, and I'm going to, you know what I mean?
He has to accept their deaths, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I love anytime that kind of thing happens, where, like, you give a character that's, like, something like what they want.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And, like, they have to realize that, like, it's not the real world and they have to move on.
Yeah, that's so
like,
good.
I mean, that happens in fucking Gurren Lagann and it's great there. It was really good in Kimetsu. I just love that, like, I don't even know what you call it, like that trope is so.
I really like.
so fun.
I really like.
Yeah, no, that's
when Naruto like does it, kind of, sort of.
God, you're right.
Like it happens in multiple instances, but like the war in and of itself is kind of this whole big fight against like having this world of dreams and like escaping reality and stuff.
Right. And not moving on with what's happened, instead just hiding and running for. God, Naruto really is built so different, isn't it? But yeah, dude.
See, the problem for me doing the arc ranking is because I've read the manga so quickly, like I don't know how well I can even differentiate the arcs.
I'm only gonna do the major arcs, so I'm only gonna do arcs that, like, in my head I know like where I would rank it. Because mine, I mean, I can go ahead and give mine. Mine would be like whatever, final arc top 1, not close. Then I'd probably do Red Light District. And then probably Swordsmith Village, and then Mugen Train, and then after that, it's like all the same. If I'm being completely honest. Like after that, it's like I think it's all like the same level of like good, but not like super great yet.
My arcs would be final arc, District, Mugen Train, Spider Family. Oh, then again, Swordsmith is really good.
Really, you don't like Swordsmith?
I do like Swordsmith. It's really good. It's kind of tied for Spider. I would put it. I mean, I guess I'll say Swordsmith is 5th, but it could switch with Spider. I'm not sure. And then I guess last place is like the beginning. I guess I might be missing something because I don't know.
That's fine. I don't think there needs to be any more. I mean, I barely distinguished. I didn't even count Spider Family as anything different, really.
Yeah, I like the final battle arc best, but I don't know. I like the rest of the manga.
Oh yeah,
epic. Who scores first?
Craftsdwarf.
Me.
And then
I gave the manga an 8 out of 10. It was really fun. It was really good. Lots of good things to like about it. I was very surprised that I liked it so much because I read it alongside of a few other things, and it was definitely like because I already read it and I didn't think I was, I dropped it.
I remember it being like the big standout surprise for you as much as you liked it compared to like everything else.
Right.
Yeah, you literally said it was like one of your favorite new shonen series. So.
No, yeah, it totally. So, it was cool and good, and I like a lot about it, and I'm really excited to revisit the series eventually. And I actually get an arc ranking apparently. But yeah.
I think I gave it a 7 in my video, but after thinking about it, and after time has passed, and I've thought more about it, and my reread leaves like the thoughts in my head more favorable than like my initial read, I'd probably give it an 8 now. It's probably fair for it.
Cool.
Very.
I like it. I mean, I like it a lot. I like Tanjiro. I love the main cast. I think the comedy's really good. I love the art. I think Gotege has like a very like unique art style, and I really enjoy it. Battles are good. I think the manga is like the perfect length for like the story. Like I could see it maybe getting one being a little bit longer, but like I like sometimes when it's like a nice like 20 something volumes and it just ends. And it's like, all right, I can feel happy with this. Quick read, good read. Yeah, it's an 8. I definitely recommend reading it for sure.
I also gave it an 8. I said it earlier. I really like Kimetsu now. I wouldn't overly compare it to Naruto or anything, but it does have a lot of what I like about Naruto in it, I guess. And the main cast is really good. Muzan's like way better of an antagonist than I thought he was. I just really like his presence throughout the story and kind of like what Tanjiro's like saying about him as he sees, the suffering that he's doing to like even people who are on his side, like even like demons are super scared of him. And, he has a really good presence. I like the antagonist more than I thought too. Like a complaint I had was like, you only really get to know much about them at their final moments. So it's kind of like, but like, I don't really agree with that anymore. I don't know. I really liked it. You can pick up a lot more about them, I guess, if you're paying attention the entire time. Yeah, it was good.
I have one more part. I'm trying to find it. I realized that there was a part I wanted to mention, and I'm trying to find it verbatim. I found it. So just sorry. Are you done with? You're done with your final thoughts, right?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. I just want to mention one more part really quickly, because I fucking love a part of Kimetsu and I forgot to talk about it, which is the part where Tanjiro talks about like, he'll kill any demon without mercy.
Oh yeah.
But the ones who regret their actions and shit, he can't. What is it? Because they were once human, like him.
me.
They aren't
Yeah.
ugly, worthless monsters. They're pitiful creatures, once living and now empty shells. So fucking good. I fucking love
that's such an elite line. Yeah.
Like that moment. I think that was the moment when I realized the reread was gonna click with me, because I'd completely forgotten about that line. And the minute I read it on my reread, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like that's
like
fucking...
it framed so much of the later stuff.
Yeah,
and
and
reframed it.
And just
again,
reading, I was like, "That's a fucking great line and like a great moment."
It was also interesting, like going along with some of the things you were saying, in the sense that it like Kimetsu doesn't always give like all the information to you, because like that line's only said like once.
Yeah, it's never flashed back to, and there are definitely other series, and this isn't, a good or a bad thing. I think it's one of those things where it's a lateral move, it doesn't hurt or make it any worse, but like, yeah, other series would absolutely just like flash back to that moment a lot. I mean, think how many times Naruto, even in the manga, so not even in the anime, shows you Naruto telling Kurama that he's going to take all the hate out of Kurama someday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it shows you, Itachi and Sasuke's relationship and the head poke and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a lot of times in Naruto
like,
where
Naruto loves
shows
to
you stuff
hammer it into you. And I think the big difference is, because Naruto makes it so fucking clear what it's doing, it's infuriating when people don't get it. Because it's like, how can you not understand? The manga, you can't read it and not get it, right? But with Kimetsu, it's like, I can understand how someone wasn't thinking they'd miss things,
Mm-hmm.
Because Kimetsu kind of does only tell you once,
and
it's
especially considering
fast pace.
like what we literally do here is we are like training ourselves to better like think about media and make these connections, right? So like I'm broken. I can't relax by watching an anime anymore. My brain just won't turn off. Like I have to watch fucking stupid YouTube shit.
Craftsdwarf, I watched Suicide Squad today, and I was trying to like figure out like, does the movie have redeemable factors? Turns out it has 1, 2, but
I'll be reading a fucking like anti-dojin and I'll be like, hey, this is kind of interesting while I'm jacking off.
Yeah. All right, that's definitely all I have to say about Kimetsu.
That's a good place to end it on. Anyway, thank you for listening to the Weeb Club.
Adios, gentlemen.
See ya.
Gentlemen.
Unfortunate.
Gentlemen.